Oh, good morning to you all. I'm here to hopefully catch up, even though I haven't read through some of these. Just been so busy, so I'm going to catch up here. But I hope you guys are having a great time with this, and that your spirituality is blossoming because I get passionate about things here, and creation. You'd like to kind of augment it a little bit, but reality is, it is what it is. And the biggest issue in reality is yourself. So you always want to be happy in the scheme of things. If we're all marching together to change the consciousness or the awareness at this level, that's good. We can't care on the other side whether it is changed or not, because it's not our gig. We're just playing part of the gig. We're like the bass player over here in a band, or we're like the organ player. Each one of you are a different player in the scheme of things, but in reality, the creation's going to go on as it is. But I think it's vital also to exude truth and honesty and integrity, and that we expect that from those that we that deal with protecting us and stuff. So I think whatever you're involved in, whatever cause. It is a worthy one, especially if it's helping others to awaken to certain levels. And that's the gig. On the other hand, you can't care because it's all creation moving on down the line. To secure your place in the greater consciousness is to become detached from all things and just to let things flow through you. You make a greater channel than the mind can in its operations. So as the little self, you don't make near the channel as you do the bigger self. And that's why it's great to just have the Supreme Being work through you, and at the same take an active part in that consciousness, because you can't just sit back and do nothing. There's doing without doing, and that of course is being active in participation like Michael in the movie, but that it's just there to be there, and then you're free from all that. I don't know how much we have up online. I haven't even looked if we have any questions for today because I really need to catch up here. It shouldn't take me too long. And Chris is free now to get these back up online, and I hope we get them back up for you. And I still hope you enjoy viewing these videos. Hopefully as we go along, there's a lot of redundancy, but the simplicity of it all. And what's nice about that is you guys get it. You guys get the simplicity. You guys are also getting the endocrine glands and the connecting links of the parathyroid. And I can tell you that most endocrinologists just don't have it. And it's amazing. You would expect to go to an endocrinologist, you would be talking to an expert of the field. But unfortunately, it isn't that way. But not to say they're stupid, but there's so much that they don't understand about the endocrine glands and how that affects the cells, and then the genetic thinking of the cells. The neurological conditions is probably the greatest example of that ignorance. And the neurotransmitters and the importance of those in myelin sheaths, the importance of those in the health of these systems, and just what we're facing here in genetics in the nervous systems. Got serious low blood pressures going on. Got serious issues going on in the autonomic nervous system and in the central nervous system. I mean, we're seeing. One medical doctor called me. He's got cancer, someone in the eye, and you're seeing a lot more cancer in people's eyes. Ugh. It's like, oh. So it's just one of those things. And so you guys are so needed out there. And so blessings to you all today. Yeah, let's go on down the line here. This is from Liverpool, England. Crystal, let me see here what you're saying here. Mental, spiritual, I have been through in terms of my own health, physical, mental, spiritual. I have come to realize in a paramount and wish for nothing more than others out of the illusionary hole of disease. Yeah, I know. What illusionary hole. What a hole that sucks into. And I tell you, it's amazing to see what people will do fear-based. You know, fear drives you to do some things that's just not good. I got some young women, you know, in their 30s just suffering badly because they chose chemotherapy and radiation, and I've got some seriously suffering people. Some of you know who you are, and my heart's there. I'm working with you as best I can, but you know, you got residual kicks and things like that you're putting up with, and I use that term because I see it all the time, not just once in a while. I see it all the time, and the residual kick is, you know, what taking acids 10 to 50 times stronger than the acids that damage your cells. What those acids will do to you. You know, you do not treat acidosis with hotter acidosis. I've said this before, that when the judicial system wakens up to truth, that will be a big issue on the chopping block, because you just can't continue to do that. You know, so you have to wake up to this level of thinking. So, absolutely, I could expand that. Let's see, you want to be are you a local naturopathic doctor, Crystal? Your passion for life. Thanks, honey. How do I apply to your school? Oh, just contact, well, Kathy's not here right now. If she is, she's been coming back, so you would contact Shannon or Jennifer here. Now, my teeth hurt, but I'm still eating Fresh Cox apples, red desserts too. Now, let me see here. Thank you for the comments there, Daniel. Dates are very popular with raw foodists and myself, but they're really high in phosphorus. Well, they're not that high though. They're not like you know, they're not like a protein. That's not a problem. Citrus fruits rule. Yeah, being very Aquarian. Yeah, I mean, you get good or any of our foods raised the right way. Yummy, yummy, yummy. But I'm a little country boy in a country town starving to death for good food. I'm telling you, it's terrible around here. And I appreciate this comment. You can do this. I do. I appreciate you saying that about me. I tried to learn teaching techniques through the years because I've had to come along educating people so I could make a living, and educating people on the need of why they need this. It's so much different in the early years. We were like lone wolves in the woods with no one to really kick things around with, and to ask deeper, you had to find those that are willing to write the books, and very few and far in between, about this level of thinking. The fruitarian books are very few and far between, but there are some good ones out there. Not that I condone that kind of living. I think that's the best level. Whether we can attain it in this lifetime or two, I don't know. I think it's a worthy goal to move towards as a species, and to start growing our fruits at a much higher level and picking them ripe. It's amazing how you feel when you are consuming this level of fruit. The tremendous difference than just grocery store fruit. Just a huge difference. You can't judge that with grocery store fruit. So you have to you know, seek out the best food you can get. That's all you can do. And so vegetables come into play as a needed element here in the human race, even as kind of a buffering zone from the extreme omnivorish ridiculousness to the fruitarian extreme, somewhere in there. But keep in mind, we look the least about a herbivore in terms of physiology and anatomy. And we really have nothing compared to omnivores either in anatomy. Some, but closer in GI tract than herbivores. So vegetables are hard to digest, but you know, I'm a power freak with drinks, green drinks, and alfalfas and things like that. But this site is really about detoxification, and I have to keep it there because our job is to help that person get deeper in, to get these tumors out, to get all this acidosis out so they're out of pain, their stability returns, all of this, all their endocrine glands start producing the steroids and hormones and neurotransmitters that they need to, And so our job is to help people get to this level, and that's detoxification. You can be a raw foodist, as a lot of you have already seen, and that's a good level. I mean, that's an incredible level. But then a lot of times you plateau, especially those that have deeper lymphatic problems, deeper genetic weaknesses, you'll plateau even on raw foods. That's why you see the kick up, and a lot of you have made that comment already, the kick up you felt on the fruit. And it's just a much deeper level of detoxification. And when it comes to neurological problems, the fruit have it. The fruit's the only way you're going to have great neurological success in your clients. You're just not going to get well on a raw food diet. You're going to do okay for a while, but the person will never, like this lady you saw walking. You've got to get up to the fruitarian level. This is the most powerful level in nutrition and in magnetics you can get. So when people disperse that, it's amazing. Like that one iridologist that told this lady that parasites feed on sugars. Worms feed on sugars. More worms feed on protein than they do sugars, lady. Yeah, I think. Let's see, I'm playing for love of oats. No more grain for me ever. Yeah, you've had some experience there, Health Skip. Yeah, but about sulfur, is garlic worth using as an antiparasitic? Yeah, it definitely is. I'll say this, that everything has its levels, and the cool thing is that the higher you get in your and the purest you get in terms of food, and I'm really talking about the fruits and the berries and the melons. When you get up into some of these higher levels, things like onions and garlic will be too pungent for you. It's like salads and vegetables, and I've heard a lot of you make this comment already. The salads are just too. That I can sometimes, when I'm buzzing here, and I eat a salad for lunch, I can come in here and feel real tired because it just took my energy away from me to eat that salad. And so, everybody has their levels, and it's okay. But when you're working with your clients, your job is to get them deeper. People come in here after a month, when they're on the program, and especially the men, of course, and they say, well, what can I add? Can I have some meat now, or can I have something now? And I say, actually, I really need you to be better. I actually need you to give me a 5-day fast. And they're looking at me like, what? And I say, you're paying me to get you better. And so I'm going to be more strict, not less strict. And I'm going to get you deeper into that world, because if I don't, you're not going to be successful, and then my reputation means nothing. And I didn't take you to the to where I knew you could go, and then I'm not fulfilled either. I'm fulfilled when you're fulfilled. I'm fulfilled when my clients go, thank you so much. I'm out of pain. I'm happy. I'm a great life. My spirituality's blossoming. Then my spirituality is blossoming. Not my ego, my spirituality, because I feel now one. I'm helping those to come up, and the same with you. So some lady made a comment to me yesterday, a YouTube watcher, that she loves our channel. She feels like a family with our channel, and that's how good you guys are. Really. Let's be honest. Let's see. Hello. What specific foods, diet quality do you advise for a person whose problem is anemia? You know what? You could pump some greens, of course, like dandelion and spinach, but definitely your beets with high iron. But the reality of this is to clean out your liver, clean out the spleen, get your GI tract cleaned up, get the lymph moving, of course, and perk up your adrenal glands, especially when you're dealing in the blood. People don't realize some of the steroids dealing with hemoglobin and things. So you really want to get the adrenal glands healthy in this process, get the liver. Sometimes if you need to, you can pop up some bone marrow. Herbs. We've got a Chinese formula in there for bone marrow. Let's see, our Ultimate Immune. has herbs in there, and it has velvet antler in there. Notice the Natural Football League now is chewing on velvet antler for stamina. I don't know who turned them on to that, but velvet antler I've used particularly in real degenerative cases and neurological cases like quads and paraplegics, because it's the velvet stage, the growth stage on antlers, and nobody's hurt when this is done, and it is very powerful. I felt it helped me tremendously regenerate a C3, C4 quad, and that's a quad just under Christopher Reeves, and she had no movement but her tongue. Actually, she had a little lever on her wheelchair, and she moved it with her tongue. I regenerated her head to toe in 11 months. In 11 months, she could lift her legs, she could shake your hand, she had total nerve reconnection. And she was just starting on the path of being able to, we could get her up and get her, work with getting her walking, we could get her rolling on the floor, really reconnecting with her nerve responses. But she passed for some reason. They just found her passed, and we don't know why. I think maybe because she was getting better and better, and she had a fear that she would go to prison because she had a head-on crash and killed this other guy, and those other parents were relentless after her. And I thought, she already paid the price. He's free, and she's stuck in a chair. But people have their own thoughts about that. But the Ultimate Immune is a good bone marrow. I mean, there's some serious decay in the human cell, and we need help to help us. And animals that are not hurt help us pretty good. And then some are used chronically for other things, including food, and so we take advantage of that a little bit. Let's see what this one is here. As of late, I am for the most part eating grapes, but doesn't matter much what it is. If it's sweet, it gets me every time. Does it? Well, sometimes there are people that this gets them, and so you want to make a parasitic kill. You want to really go after the candida in your body. At the same time, if you need to break through the vegetable line first, get some detoxifying done here, and get the adrenals in line where the cortisols are in line and everything, you can do that. It's okay. You don't have to freak out too much. Keep that high goal. Work yourself toward that. Sometimes our bodies need to be cleaned out of the fungus and stuff like that, and the things and get the glands online again to get a homeostasis there, to get good sugar metabolism, so everything is working well. Clean the liver out, things like this, and then you'll be able to tolerate fruits as you should. So. It's not because you can't tolerate them that they're bad. It's just that your body isn't at the level that it can handle them, and you have to fix your body. I think no removal of lymph glands during surgery. This person had, this was Annie. Let's see, she said no to removal of lymph glands during surgery. Second biopsy, whole lump and margins. Results inconclusive and sent away. Note, I did not tell doctor or surgeon I was on a detox for another reason, as I believe they would not approve. Of course they wouldn't approve. That makes you sick right there. I fell 12 foot plus. Yeah, I've talked to you before where you fell flat. That wasn't the reason for the lump, though. But climbing to support rail to get a piece of equipment off the roof. I still have various issues. Well, you could have some neuropathy and some breaking down of the nervous system there, the bottom of the feet and things. But again, if you go back to Annie, why you have the lump in the first place, this goes back to the kidneys again and the adrenals again and the inability to move lymph. Well, you can imagine that trauma to tissue damages tissue. Well, then you need the janitorial service to come in and clean that tissue. You can't expect the blood to bring in the nutrition and to do everything for you. That doesn't work. You have to have the sewer system. You have to have the janitors come in and clean up the mess. And that's the lymph system. And so when your lymph system isn't moving well, that trauma, even back then, could still be that acidosis from that trauma, because trauma causes acidosis, just like foods. So when you have that trauma, and that trauma isn't healing, you're too acidic. When you have an injury and it's hanging around, you're too acidic, you're not moving your lymph. That's the bottom line to getting well. It isn't just bringing blood to the source. That's there. Capillaries, veins, everything. Everybody's there that way. But it's the broom sweepers. It's the trash removers. That's the problem, and that's the lymph system, not the blood. You can't dump trash into the blood. Dumping acids in the blood is not. The body's smarter than most medical doctors by far, especially oncologists. You don't dump acids in the blood. Wake up to that. And the body doesn't. It knows better. So we just have to learn those things. So let me see. Equipment. I still have various issues due to the fall. Physio and lymph that remains mass. They said I developed fibromyalgia, pain man. You didn't develop that from the trauma. That's what you're developing from your weakness. So you have to look at this differently, Annie. You have to look at the fact that your trauma actually didn't heal because of your lymph. And now you're seeing, as you get older, you're seeing what your lymph is doing to you. Fibromyalgia, lumps in the breast, that's all a lymphatic problem, not an injury problem. And that injury didn't exacerbate that. It just brought you in an awareness of where your problems really are, honey, and that's your lymph system. So you get hunking on that lymph system, I guarantee you that any trauma that's left in those feet will come out of there. Knees, hips, all that will come out of there. Make sure your parathyroid is good. Remember, that's calcium utilization. Parathyroid, calcium utilization. We don't understand the thyroid also produces calcitonin. Thyroid and parathyroid are used in the waxing and waning of the calcium of the body, so they are essential to be healthy for structure reasons. And then also you've got to move lymph, honey, and this is just what you're facing here. So you're on the right program, you're on the right focus. Tear into it, sweetheart. I know you're managing yourself with this like TENS thing, but don't trust. It's not a curing element. You've got to remove the waste. You've got to get your lymph system moving, Annie. So hop on it and get deep into that and tear into that. You'll probably re-experience some discomfort in the feet, too. These are generally detox healing crises, as these old injuries do come back to haunt. So if there's a pain you're going through with that, don't freak out. You've been kind of controlling it with this unit, but machines cannot move your lymph and cure you and get your kidneys filtering and your adrenals up. I don't care what people's claims are. Some mask symptoms for a while. It's kind of like MSM and glucosamine, sulfur compounds mask symptoms for a while, only to have you wake up with some real serious problems. I'm glad you like the private health club, monkey man. I do too. It's a good thing. I for a lot of reasons. Easier for us. We're going to make it nice for everyone, and you're protected. And I like that. Protected as much as you can, but I like that. I would like to see this spring up everywhere, where you guys were working in your areas with this, and we were just infiltrating the world. And that's why we give you different cost breaks when you get done with the class and things like this, because my goal is to change the consciousness of the planet, pure and simple, period. I could retire, I guess, but I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help change the awareness here, and for myself too, to grow. Is it okay to use 200 proof alcohol? Well, the tinctures are 190 proof already. That they're pharmaceutical grade alcohol. They're 190 proof, so they're pretty strong. But you have to realize that when you mix herbs in with a little alcohol and a little water for 30 days, you're really breaking everything down into that. You're really kind of absorbing the consciousness into that. And then when you press with a 55-ton press or greater, you're literally just making those like the alcohol and the water, just major chemistry. It all becomes a major chemistry together. So it is strong for some, but the average person can handle plenty of that alcohol. It's not that much. Feels like it, but it's not that much. You can tell these are strong herbs even if you burn the alcohol off. Thanks again, Jackie Doe. I resonate with you too, honey. Let me see. My question is: there something physically, such as an issue with the parathyroid, that would cause? Okay, I realize. Let's see. In the past, I thought I didn't dream. I realize now I was dreaming. I was not remembering. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking. I was reading a book one time, and someone said, "Well, men typically don't dream in colors." And so I was thinking, well, you know what? I never thought about it. Because as a male, you don't really think about your hair. Sometimes I'll end up in Home Depot and go, oh, man, I forgot to brush my hair. We're just so outer. Women are so inner. And so, that night, my master that I was working with at the time took me right out of my body, and we were hovering over this landscape, over this pathway, and the trees and the plants were emanating light, and they looked like jewels. The trees looked like jewels, and the flowers, and they were emanating lights like nobody's business. And it was a profound awakening to colors. And then I've always looked at colors after that. And then I visited the Thousand Petal Lotus several times. And that's a reality for those in the Hindu religion. The Thousand Petal Lotus is a very visible sight. It sits on the top of the mountains of Sahasradel Kanwal. And the Thousand Petal Lotus is an incredible powerhouse of light from the top of the astral world down to the astral world and the physical world. It supports these worlds. If you think a rainbow is pretty, the Thousand Petal Lotus is just a powerhouse of light that breeds ecstasy to see it. And I've seen it several times. Incredible experience. Not to throw any confusion out there, there's a lot of reality beyond this very inert, constipated level. Yeah, okay. So just keep it opening up. Pineal gland, yeah, could have some things. I mean, there could be some, suppression maybe, but remember, you're not your pineal gland. You are far beyond this physical. You do not let anything outside of yourself disturb yourself. That's why get in the now. Your pineal gland, all these essences are not in the now. They are, but they're not. So you have to get a hold of you up and beyond all the bodies, all the minds, all the emotional body, all that, all your id, get above all of this. And then you won't be affected at all by what's going on with the pineal gland or whatever, because your consciousness is exuding from you as soul and not from your bodies. And so that's why it's important to keep working in the now, to keep working with the observation technique, where you start observing life instead of thinking and creating. You step back. You observe a movie. You don't get lost into the movie. You observe. And it's a position that frees you up from the social structure of creation and the limited consciousness that offers you, and gives you to the more expansive level of oneness and freedom. And that's real important in terms of your survival in creation, so to speak, and outside thereof. Even though you can't never die, you can't hurt yourself, and you can't run, you can't go anywhere you're not. You ever notice that? There's nowhere you can go to hide from yourself. And that's why you got to get in and settle down and get used to yourself, because you're all beautiful beings and light. And like I said, when you get to the point that you can see everything as God, including the people you don't like, that's a good position to be in. You don't have to like things in creation if they're not what you see, but you have to love it all. Yeah, let me see. I love this. Thanks. Appreciate your. Yeah, I addressed this before. Men ate meat 250 years ago. I addressed that in another video here. For folk who want to know a hardcore healing program to become completely healed, I'm on green juice 3 times a day, fruits, 8 to 10 liters of water. And don't overdo the water, bros. I can tell you, not really a thing that's going to do you any good. I'll tell you over and over again. Don't go out and try to do way too much water. Not smart, not good. Some of you guys that are very acidic, you're going to bloat up like a Christmas tree. And you don't want to do that either. It'd be uncomfortable, and that won't serve any purposes either. So everything in moderation, like the Tibetan rites. You know, there's those exercises that for longevity. I'm very aware of them. So there's a lot of neat things out there, of course. Homegrown green leaves, absolutely. Let's see here. So if starch is polysaccharide, what do you call cellulose? Polysaccharide. As far as I'm informed, cellulose is also a polysaccharide. You're informed correct. It takes longer to digest, absolutely. And what happens when the fruit sugar is metabolized by the liver, turning glucose? I'll still tell you that all fructose is not metabolized into glucose. I don't see that. I see the body directly using that. And I gave that comment before on particular type 1 diabetics that we give. They can't tolerate glucose. When they do glucose, their blood sugars soar, but when you give them fructose, their blood sugars go to normal. So you can definitely tell when you study fructose can absorb through a cell wall by diffusion. It's already a monosaccharide. No need to really convert it to an inferior monosaccharide. I don't see that. So I think some of this is bullcrap myself. I think a lot of what physiology has in it isn't always true. You have to wake up to that reality that all you've learned in physiology isn't always true. We in biochemistry always disagree. I'm sorry, it's just that way. There's as many opinions in biochemistry as there are biochemists, in my opinion. That's why I don't go that route anymore. It isn't worth the argument. I mean, people are arguing over which is better, which isn't. Look at David Wolf and Brian and Gabriel Cousins and Victor and all these people. Oh, Sproutitarian life is better, vegetarian life, fruitarian life. It's all good. It's all wherever your consciousness is. I just happen to think fruitarian is the highest conscious available. Do I think man could achieve it and should live there? Not in this lifetime, but we could work toward it. But how interesting is it that I can put you at that level where even a sproutitarian lifestyle, even a vegetarian lifestyle, you still have cancers, you still have problems. I get you up into the fruitarian lifestyle and you're at the top of the rung. Even Yale or one of these universities years ago did 44th athletic modules, and they took a fruitarian and a raw foodist and I think a natural hygienist and bodybuilders, and they had a whole gamut of dietary regimes, and the fruitarian almost always outdid others by 200-300%. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you like. It is not worth the argument. But it's enough to say that if you did comparative analysis of species of vertebrates, you have only one conclusion to bring, and that is we're primate-ish in the way we're built. And most primates are more frugivores than any other. True, you can't judge mountain gorillas when you're pushing them up into the mountains deeper, higher and higher. We're doing that. You can't judge their diet by that. And those primates that are stuck on islands where they can only fish for seafood, you can't judge that. Again, location, location, location. Monosaccharides other than glucose turn into glucose when metabolized by the... Okay, we went through that. Besides moving my lymph, are there any herbs I can take to increase my flexibility? Moving lymph is increasing flexibility. That inflexibility is acidosis, and you can and you can get waterlogged. You can get bloated, But the true tightening and pain and stiffness is acidosis. And so by moving your lymph, that's how you do get flexible. I'd say if you're having bone cracking and things like this, pick up on the parathyroid gland. That'd be very, very important there. What are the different signs and symptoms of different colored mucus insofar as black, yellow, orange, red, and green? Well, clear mucus is probably the newest mucus in the body. As you move into the yellow, that's subacute. That's been in the body a little longer. More parasitic action's been involved in trying to break it down for you. As you get into the green, of course, that's much deeper mucus. You can see those stages as you go through deeper healing crisis. The green is a good question, by the way. That green, nasty, stinky mucus, that's getting necrotic. There's a lot of bacterial action in there trying to break this down for you, break down these acids, break down the mucus. And then as you get into the darker, more chronic, black, you're moving in the green into the chronics and then into the browns, and then the black is degenerative. Some people have a lot of thick black mucus in the body. Of course, smoking you'll do a lot of black mucus, but you can have that. You can get black liver stones out of the liver and red liver stones, very toxic stones. Common to get some black stones out of the liver. Someone mentioned about red stones. I never heard of them, and finally someone had gotten a red stone out. But I have seen plenty of black stones. I've had people ooze black matter out of the bowels at the same time throwing it up out of the mouth. I think I told you about a stomach cancer case that did that. I've seen that in children. But I saw a 2-year-old oozing black matter out of the bowels. At 2 years old, they had this decayed matter in them. So it's amazing. So the more gnarly of the mucus you see coming out, obviously the deeper it is. Now I've got this one lady, her eyes are actually red, especially up in the brain area, and she is pouring out red mucus. So that has to be chemicals or dyes or something that didn't have the ability to break down. Of course, the orange mucus is definitely the sulfurs, and you'll tell it. But yeah. So good question there, HARLEMW651. Composer, let's see. Are you talking to Double Raw Star? Yeah. No, he said it was a cancer just, let's see. I don't think he said it was cancer just in your kidneys may need attention. You could get blood from a bladder infection too, but the more acidic the urine, the more likely to happen. Yeah, you know, infection is acidosis. Infection is lymph. You know, when we say infection, there's only 2 major fluids that deal in the human body. So you don't have to really get up and outside of those kind of thinking like there's another mysterious fluid in there or infection is something outside of what's going on in the body, because it isn't. This deals with high acids. That's why you get a burning when you get infection. It's highly acidic. And so this is all just acidosis and sewage, you know, not going anywhere fast. Toxemia, I mean, that's what this is all about, is toxemia. Some of these words, you know, you don't use them all the time, like toxemia. Excuse me, but it's just what we're dealing with is toxemia there. And that toxemia is acidic, of course. Yeah, we talked about Herring's Law of Cure yesterday. And like I said, in detox, let me tell you, there is no, the best way I can show you what you're going to experience in detox is your eyes. Because where I see a weakness, then I'm going to see a problem. You're going to have a healing crisis there, whether it's a sore throat or whether it's, you know, your throat can get real sore on these detoxes to the point where you lose your voice and can't speak anymore. And then it'll come back. And sometimes your eyes get really, really mucousy. Your hearing can go down and then suddenly go way up. In the end, when you're done cleaning, everything is way up. The sense of smell, way up. And when my smell came back, I realized I'd been smelling for years by memory. Let me see here. My question is it okay to drink grape juice from frozen concentrate if it's 100% grapes? You know, frozen is probably second best, especially in the wintertime where you can still get organic frozen fruits. Yeah, you know, I mean, it is second best. Nothing like fresh, but the next step down would be frozen. Outside of that, there really isn't any steps down. Anything that's pasteurized is not worth it. So if you're talking about unpasteurized juice here, that's the other problem. If you can get frozen unpasteurized juice, so much better. I would say that if you got to do pasteurized juices, they need to be like Knutson's or some organic juice. They're really good juices. They're grape juice. I could tell they just juiced it not too long since I bought it. It was really strong, really good. It's in a glass jar. Don't buy anything in a plastic jar. We need to send a message. It all needs to be in glass and organic. I mean, it is cooked, so you're going to lose a lot of nutrition, but there was tests done on the magnetics of even cooked grape juice, pasteurized grape juice. And it still had a lot of magnetic energy to it. The one fruit, that's why through the years all these things that I forgot will start coming out maybe. But that test also showed me the power of the grape had above the other fruits. It still maintained a high electrical current even though it had been pasteurized. That was pretty good. So that's why I just love the grapes. If you had to pick one that you had to detoxify with and be healthy on, the grapes are a great pick because of their high nutritional output. And of course, as one of you said, the darker the better. Absolutely. You can tell that with playing with your pHs, the difference between dark and green grapes. I particularly picked the organic orange because I just had found this special grove, and these navels were small grapefruits, minimally, if not big grapefruits. Massive oranges, and the taste was nectar. The taste was like a medjool date. And you just, nirvanic taste. When you get a food like that, that's what your body wants. Then go after it. Because your body's saying, that's what I want. And you go after that. That's why intuitiveness is key to breed and health. That ought to freak out allopathic thinking because there's no intuitiveness there. It's all intellectual jargon. But intuitiveness is key in terms of, oh, my body's craving this. Not intuitive if you have a lot of fungus and you're intuitively craving a chocolate chip cookie. That's not quite the intuitiveness I'm talking about. Thanks, Liz, for your questions there, honey. Chad, let's see here, my friend. My left eyelid has been droopy my entire life. So you have a real, here's connective tissue weakness again here. Again, move your lymph system, get your parathyroid kicked up, tone that connective tissue, tendons, muscles in the body. This stuff will pull itself right again. Right eyelid never droops. It seems to get worse when I'm tired. Well, here again, there's a neurological component to this, okay? So that could be a little importance to you here. When you're tired, the system that's drained, of course, is the nervous system, and then neurologically you're not holding this too, so that has an effect as well. So I'd go upper circ, brain and nerve, make sure my parathyroid is kicking up there, and matter of fact, hit those adrenal glands. Autonomic, real important. So get those adrenal glands up and your neurotransmitters up. Does suggest that the left kidney and adrenal is the one at issue here. Is there any herbal formulas? Yeah, absolutely. Get the upper circ, brain and nerve, pop up those adrenals, make sure your parathyroid is up to strengthen everything, and move that lymph, then you'll be good. And here's another good thing. I've been raw and taking your herbs, adrenal, and thyroid for a couple of weeks now to fight anxiety, depression. So here we go. The two things I just talked about, parathyroid, that's depression. Remember that. Calcium utilization, a lack thereof. The lack of calcium utilization is depression. All these medical doctors that are psychiatrists and things, you've got to get with this. You can't just keep giving these antidepressants. It's ruining the humans. You got to understand more about physiology. Lack of calcium utilization is depression. Anxieties is the adrenal glands. That's emotional. That's neurological. That's your low adrenal function. You always see low blood pressure in these cases, guys. In these cases, guys. So that ties right back here to a droopy eyelid and a real weak myelin sheath, real weak nervous system. My guess also lack of calcium utilization. Are we good or what? Chad, take off, my friend. Just wondering if let me know if liver or age spots on the body will disappear. They will. They certainly will. And this all the way to vitiligo and stuff, you know, talking about the pituitary. All this stuff will change. You might be working a bit. We have a, you know, vitiligo takes a long time to correct. But I've had people already comment. I had one girl in just a few months, a young girl with vitiligo, say, "Look, it's disappearing." So that was good. That was good to see that, you know. Because there's cases of some things I've never seen because we don't have everything in the world come in here. Sometimes we have something new I've never seen anybody do anything with. I know where they're going to go, don't you? You know there's nothing that the body can't correct, right? Because you got to go with that. You got to understand that. That's that positive forward, that no. There is no buts, ands, ifs, ors. No. And you don't breed that in your client. You're breeding the grabbing of the wheel and putting on the robe and driving the car and riding the bull. There is no maybe. Like Kelly, there's no maybe, Kelly. There is, you get it, but you've got to know what you're going for. You got to know what you're going after and write it. If not, then play with your medical friends and have fun. No one cares. But if you want to get well, then you grab it and you ride it. Yeah, it's going to ride you up and down, take you on a journey, okay. But getting into that positive stance of knowingness, no matter what you face as a practitioner, you guys helping your friends, even if you never worked with it before, you know you're going to get it. And you walk with that kind of confidence, and people will feel that confidence, and they'll go, this guy can help me, or this lady can help me. Yes, and you can help them, because there's nothing you can't cure with this, because you know the root cause of everything. And yes, genetics, okay, so what? Don't let that freak you out. It's just cells going, well, you know what, I can't remember. So you pop up their memory patterns. You introduce your cells to another level of performance. And you're doing it through chemistry and magnetics, physics. The two main sciences that rule the physical universe. In terms of human sciences, let me see here. Thanks so much for advice. Advice for someone with half a thyroid. Any advice for someone with half a thyroid? If I foolishly had them take out the other half because of a nodule. Oh. So what was that nodule telling you? What's a nodule? Like a little tumor, isn't it? So what system did that tumor come out of? Interstitial, right? It had to. It's only thyroid is just a bunch of cells with two major fluids. So when you see an expression, when you see a swelling, when you see a pocket, where's that pocket coming out of? Exactly. It's coming out of that interstitial fluid. It's coming out of that tissue. And that pocket is holding interstitial fluids. And so this is when your lymph system doesn't filter well, doesn't move well in the body, then you start to see it backing up, like any sewer system would. Just like any place would. And this is the problem. So now you haven't fixed the problem. Of course, you didn't know any better, so don't beat yourself up. See if you can get this thyroid to grow back. You still got enough there, so see if this thyroid will grow back. At the same time, you've got to get yourself up there. If you want tissue to grow back that you've removed, especially when there's some left like that, we've seen that, then you want to get high up. You can't regenerate tissue on dead foods, rotten meat, some kind of plastic milk stuff. You can't regenerate nothing on there. Ensure would like to make you think that, how the little bottle of crap holds around these fruits and vegetables. I mean, that's false advertising, you know, and that's wrong. You know, that makes people have a wrong idea about what that stuff is. And so you've got to get healthy. And you can only do it on raw foods in terms of reality here. And if you want to grow back tissue, you know you got to be raw. You got to be up there higher, maybe even on the fruit line. That's when I see new neural pathways developing. New neural pathways. How cool is that? And so that you're involved in the highest form of healing that I can see. Yeah, there's Humpty Dumpties. So go after your kidneys, honey, and really get yourself taken care of here. If you're males and I call you honeys, then I just love you. Well, the other side has one too, huh? The other side of the thyroid, well, that means your right kidney isn't doing real well now either. But generally, you start to lose filtration bilaterally to some degree, one over another generally. So your body's just saying, fix my kidneys, get my adrenals up so I can fix my kidneys and get my lymph moving. That's what the message of this day is for you, is get your lymph moving. This is a lymphatic problem that you're facing here. This isn't a blood problem. What else is left? And so you want to get after that and get that nodule out of there. And at that level, to do that, you're going to have the level to regenerate and maybe grow the other half. I've seen a thyroid grow back when there was even just a little piece left. So I have seen that. AVRIL. Hi, sweetheart. Dr. Walker promoted drinking carrot juice and cutting off the tops and tails. You know what? Remember. N.W. Walker was an old man. N.W. Walker was great in his day. You now are great in your day. Okay? So remember that. All of us older guys that have been doing this, we expect you guys to do better. I do. I do. I expect you to do better than we did. We're just saying, here, we've worked all our lives and we found this. And then you take that and you take it way out there even further. I'm excited to have rep sessions with you guys down the road. What'd you learn? What experiences did you have? If anything, we should have symposiums where we get together and tell stories and cases that we've had, sensational cases that you've seen. What did you use? Because we all need to work together. The allopaths, the homeopaths, the naturopaths. We all need to incorporate at least the dietary similarities. And then if you want to use different things, allopaths have to get rid of pharmaceuticals and only keep a few around. There's only a few pharmaceuticals that really need to be kept around. Most of the pharmaceuticals can be thrown out with the trash, and hopefully no other creature will get a hold of them. The deadly things the FDA allows. Kill ratio. That just kills me. So my take on carrot juice is it's not a real powerful juice. It's the old day of thinking. And I made this comment yesterday about Jensen and his journey. And until he came to me, someday, he was proud of it, so I'll show you his colonoscopy. Then I'll show you the befores and afters of the difference for Jensen, even after a 3-month carrot juice fast, what his GI tract looked like. I'll show you an endoscopy and a colonoscopy that he had, and I'll show you what his GI tract looked like. The guy that wrote the book on the bowels, I will show you his before and after the herbs and the fruitarian diet we put him on. Will show you the difference, and you will be amazed. Proof is in the pudding. So I like the green juices much better than I like the carrot juice. If you want to use carrot juice as the base. But I'd like to ask Bunny Love, what's going on with you guys? You used to have sweet carrots, now you have bitter carrots. What's going on with you? A good organic carrot will not be bitter. It'll be so sweet like a medjool date. So this idea of bitter carrots, that's ridiculous. We never had bitter carrots when we grew them on the farm. They were always sweet. I just don't know where this, again, a good example of where organics suck. Instead. But yeah, go on up. Someone with a hiatal hernia that is having some chronic pain after eating. An evening that cooked. Let's see. An evening meat cooked. Just wants good advice. Do I need to phone your clinic? Well, you can, sweetheart, but you know what? If you're having pain when you eat, you do not do dead animal food. You don't do any protein at all. You set all that aside. Leave hydrochloric acid alone. Keep your amino acid structure simple. The simplest structure of amino acids are your fruits. So this won't woke hydrochloric acid. Everything will be cool. It has a healing effect, an anti-inflammatory effect. Of course, all fruits are anti-inflammatories, antacids, pretty much. There are some, okay. But you would stay away from the tomatoes, of course. You'd stay away from the pineapples. Maybe stay away from the strawberries and the blackberries a little bit. You'd hit the subacid and the sweet fruits. At the same time, you're going to use Hillel tea, or if you got an aloe plant, scrape the aloe and make you a little 2-ounce drink out of the aloe vera juice. Better than we sell aloe vera, but You know, it's nothing like fresh, but any of these things will help that pain. Could be stomach cancer, could just be a tumor, just could be inflammation, could be an ulceration. You're going to treat every one of those things, and bite my tongue with treat, because we don't treat, but you're going to work on this person's health issue by removing the acids. This could be interstitial, lymphatic, constipation, and only you guys know about it. Interstitial, lymphatic, constipation. And you're going to go that way, go with the kidneys and the adrenals, and keep pulling on that lymph system. You're always going to do that, because it could be pancreatic, it could be liver. I mean, in just a statement like this, that can be any of those things. You're going to go after it the same way. You're going to go after the health of that person. And by going after the health of that person, you're removing the acids. And if there's, let's say they're not producing enough hydrochloric acid, or they're eating too many proteins and they've ulcerated, or the pancreas isn't giving the bicarbonate to neutralize the hydrochloric acid, okay. Your job is just to make everything healthy in the body, because that's the only stance you can take without rubbing noses with this allopathic nonsense. And so you have to change, you have to grab a different stance. And your stance is going to be one of health. They have nothing to do with health. When they start coming after you for health, then we'll come after them, because they're actually using words that are not proper for what they do. So they're actually conspiring, if you will, to fraud the American public. And so they can't use the word health because they have nothing to do with it. We are nothing but health, and that's our word. So if they want to fight over their diseases and over their words, then we can fight over our words. Keep in mind you're in the now and you don't care, and everything's going to work itself through. Lion Man. Well, I've been on a strict 100% raw food diet now since October 2nd. Been fully raw, I can't kick it up a notch. You know, you always kick it up a notch. If you want to, do 50, 70, 80% fruit and 10% vegetables in the raw, and see how you do. There's always a level higher, isn't there? Although I am having breakouts on my forehead. Good, good, good. The enigmatic on 3. Boom, tongue twister, man. Now don't talk about enigma. I love enigma. Guy could get a little bit of a buzz, eating Medjool dates, of course, and then turning on enigma. That'd be good. Hey, Doc M. Mango Mark. Hey, Mango Mark here. How you doing, buddy? I haven't talked to you in a while. Of course, it's generally quite a while from the first meeting to the second. I'm putting on my lemon juice robe, cool beans, and gonna kick your passing record. All right, you're on, Mango Mark. Go for it. 29 days, bro. I'm putting on my lemon juice robe, cool beans, and gonna kick your passing record. All right, you're on, Mango Mark. Go for it. 29 days, bro. Yeah, one girl I told you kicked my butt. She did 45 days. I couldn't believe it. 45 days on lemons. I mean, after 20 some, you're pretty limited out. But she did 45. God bless her. Great soul. Quick question. Stanley Burroughs recommends herbal laxative, Senna. I don't recommend Senna. Use Stomach and Bowel number 2 or 3. Don't overdo it. Little calf scare, okay. Don't try to get stool out all through the later periods of this. The longer you go, don't worry about that. And saltwater flushes to move the toxins out of the colon. You could use some of that. I think you're part of lemon juice fast. I love the lemon juice fast. But I've done plenty of the lemon juice fast, and I didn't even have herbs to move my colon out and stuff. But I was pretty fruit for a long time doing this, so I didn't have anything but fruit matter in my bowels. I really never had much of a problem. When I ceased to go after a certain amount of time, I wasn't bothered by putrefaction or anything. Please get a bodybuilder on with you, Dr. Morris. I've got one. I got to get him in here if he'll do it. He had 28-inch arms. He made a lot of magazines. Big chest, big guy. We always going, but big guy. Not a big guy anymore. Lost the manufacturer. I think he's in surgery. His joints are better, but he's never been able to quit eating some protein. So he's just never been able to get 100% clear. Major RA, major joints, and that's what I say. We see so much of this here that what you ending up doing to you, what this kind of lifestyle does to you, we see it firsthand. My experiences aren't book experiences, they're your experiences. I learn from seeing what comes in here. My opinions are formed after 40 years and maybe 150,000 people or more that I've worked with. That's where my opinion comes from. My opinion comes from observed clinical studies, and you guys are the keys. That knowledge is key to understanding what's going on here. Book knowledge, don't come to me with book knowledge. No way. We need knowledge of actual clients, human beings that have participated in these programs. What did you accomplish? What have we seen? This is a much different. Some medical doctor says to me, double-blind studies, I just want to throw up in his face. Clinicals. What does it do in clinicals? These double-blind studies are stupid. Look at 60 Minutes exposing the ridiculousness of double-blind studies. That was 60 Minutes that exposed that. What I want to see is, what does it do on the patient or on the client? What does it do on them? Do they reach Wellville? Do they overcome their cancers? If you can use for a medical doctor thinking, can they overcome these problems? Certainly. Sorry. There's nothing you can't cure. Using the cure word in relationship to diseases. But there's not a person some of you are pretty advanced and you're fighting hard. Just hang in there and keep that positive power, keep you as soul pumping that God force into that body. And then eating the God force as high as we know it to be. And your body, it's all up to the body. Oh, good. You love how you recommend the ear canning. Our family doctor was so against it. I've always loved it. Of course, family doctors are against everything. ITS, what's your name? It's the four of us. It's the four of us. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's so much constipation in the medical community. Man, they need to open this door and get some sunshine, don't you think? Oh, yes. Fruit Fairy. I love your picture here. This is Fruit Fairy, man, just beautiful. Beautiful. I love that picture. Man, I noticed that you offer the DVD course with certification. Does the DVD course cover all of the content? Yeah, we have more fun, Michelle. We have more fun. It's 5 days of this, basically. What you see is 5 days of this. I give you clients to fix and help me. We divide off into round tables. Each of you have a turn to work with clients, but the whole group does. We have 1 day of iridology, and we tear into the herbs, how to use them, what they're for. We tear into this. You guys are getting a big head start. This information is free to you, and you're getting a big head start. And I love it. I just love it. I'm loving the fact that you guys are tearing it up, because truth is here to stay. What are you wearing? Your energy seems a little different. Well, I have my ups and downs depending on the night before, sweetheart. Sam, I don't know. Yeah, my detox school is next April. I only do it once a year now. I spend a lot of energy at that school. It takes me a year to I used to do it. What did we used to do it? Once every 2 months, and then every 3, and then every 6. So I'm just kind of winding down. I love them, but they're high energetic for me. I'm really pumping the energy to you guys, and it really just can do a job on my body. But I love them. If you start fasting on fruit, or better term, having a mono diet of fruit, being just one type a day, or maybe several other days, but just fruit, then would it be advisable to do exercise at this time? You know what? Again, if you're not filtering, if you don't see sediment in your stool, mucus threads. That's that. I love that lab core. Yeah, pretty cool. If you don't see that, I would keep exercise to a minimal. Give your joints a break, and start moving these acids out, getting that flexibility back, and then your body will love you. Your joints will be able to last and last and last, and everything's good. Everything's good. You've been juicing for a couple months, but don't juice too much because the amount of concentrated nutrients. Well, here's another take, guys. If you're juicing too much, it's too much nutrition. I drink about 1 quart in the morning and 1 quart at night. That's plenty. That's a lot, really. But it is true that when we juice, we're getting a lot of nutrition that most animals don't get. See, most animals have to break down the fiber and go through all that. So keep in mind, nutrition is a good 2 or 3, 4-day course, 5-day course. Maybe I could probably set up in school, a semester, an hour every day or something, or 3 or 4 times a week, and that'd be a semester. I'd have to really stretch it out because nutrition is the easiest part to understand. It's easy to give you nutrition, but it isn't easy to move the lymph system. And it isn't about, it's about nutrition, sure, but the problem is in chemistry that you have to just understand that if you understand that these foods grown properly has the chemistry man needs, you don't have to go too far into that field, because that's what's happening. The intellectual field around supplements is clogging the reality and truth of it all. And so now you think, well, I got to have B12. I've got to have selenium. I've got to have this. I got to have that. And if you're doing these hair analysis, you got to have this. You got to have this mineral to balance this mineral. This is like a juggling act that never builds you robust health and vitality, because it's so much simpler than that. And you'll get lost and spend a lot of money and come in here totally confused. We see it all the time. And if you just shift your thinking and go, fresh fruits and vegetables, that's what I need. All that nutrition, whatever it is, that's what I need. That's all you need to know, But this other part is the lymph system and the connection to the glands and the organs and all that. That's the reality of this. The acid side of chemistry, that's the reality of this. The other reality is procuring decent food to eat. That's a big reality. Procuring good food to eat, good nutrition to eat. Yeah, I answered this yesterday about bone chips and stuff on the elbow. The proof is in the pie. I answered that yesterday. I hope he gets it up for you. That was answered there. I answered your question. Let me see. I am about 70% raw. 3 months detox is kicking my butt big time. This is Bo. I am determined to get through it with your amazing. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Big cyber hugs. Big cyber hugs to you. Sweden. Go, Bo, from Sweden. Yeah, I always say know when to hold them and know when to fold them. All right? So know when to hold them and know when to fold them. If you get too extreme on the healing crisis, start eating some cooked food, back down from that. You can come back, revisit it, but get some more underlying work done. So if it gets too radical, back up. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, all right? And, you work yourself through good. Others, it's pedal to the metal. Me, it was always pedal to the metal. See what's going on. But there's times where we got to know when to fold them, back them down. Because, after all, this is a love thing, and this is a health thing, and we want to work them through. We don't want to just, get there. We wanted to work through at the pace they can tolerate it. Sometimes some of these are very emotional experiences, and sometimes you just need to collect yourself and get strong and then head back to it. No disgrace, no problems. So good, Bo. I am growing bone spurs, my heel, bottom foot. Not moving your lymph, man. You're sucking your calcium right out of your foot. and just had neck x-rays and they are growing on my vertebrae. You're too acidic. You're pulling calcium out of your vertebrae, then you'll compress or break down your vertebrae. It's your lymph system, and you've got to move your lymph system. You're too acidic. You see it upstairs and you see it down below. Kidneys and adrenals, get that lymph system moving, my friend. Make sure your parathyroid is working so you can put that calcium back into those tissues that it's robbing it from. What can I do to stop this, and can I dissolve? Absolutely, you can dissolve them. The cushion between the discs are worn thin also. Yeah, you've been too acidic for a long time there. That's your lymph system. Got to move it, or you can't stop what's going to go on here. So you've got to move your lymph system real aggressively. Get in there, get those kidneys up, get those adrenals up, and maybe pick up that parathyroid a little bit so that calcium, as calcium in a base solution will find itself in solution, but you want it back into bone matrix, and it will with the proper parathormone and stuff. It'll pull it back in and rebuild any discs that are broken down. And the same thing in the foot, though. So whenever you see bone spurs and things like this, where's it coming from? And it's coming from the joint or from the bone. And it's always in an acidic medium you see that happening. So it goes back to the lymph system again here. My dog seems to like your videos. Well, I love your dog. I like dogs anyway, but tell your dog, hi, doggy. Let me get you a pat, a little scratch. Oh, I peed into a plastic cup and melted the cup. No, Lemonade, I'm just kidding. I peed into a plastic cup. Yes, it is definitely sediment. Can you tell I'm so... Yeah. Now you see what I'm talking about, Lemonade? Sediment. You will see it every time. How long it takes you? I don't know some of the things. You guys will learn more than me about this, because now I'm giving you your place to put your attention, your focus on. I'm already worn out. You guys will take this and really connect the dots even more than me, and we'll take this way out there. Good work. Good work, Lemonade. You should be excited, because now your kidneys are breaking loose. You won't lose your kidneys, and now your lymph can drain properly. Good work. You don't know which kidney's draining over another one. There is some fallacy, but at least somebody's draining. Today I mentioned to someone that it's good to have sediment in the urine. Unfortunately, I did not know the answer when they asked me, why is this a good thing? Because it's the acids. Sediment is acids. That's sewage coming out. We want sewage. You don't want to poop in a toilet. Flush the toilet, run out to the outside, look at the drain coming out, and just see water coming out. That wouldn't be good. Where did that stuff go? And that's what's happening when you pee clear urine. Where did that stuff go? It should be in there. Where did my cellular waste go? Nowhere. Nowhere fast. Or they've lumped up into a tumor, a cyst, a ball, or a pimple. So, like dandruff, that's lymph. That's lymph. Mucus threads, lymph. And that just shows you that your kidney is a great filtering organ for the lymph. Like dandruff, that's lymph. That's lymph. Mucus threads, lymph. And that just shows you that your kidney is a great filtering organ for the lymph, no matter what they think in physiology. You know, remember, they're still constipated in physiology. Thanks. Thank you. I hope to keep shining bright. Hey, we're up to 2,338 subscribers. Cool. Thanks, you all. Thanks for enjoying these videos, and I love you all. Thank you so much. I think we're tearing it up, don't you? You guys are tearing it up. Real proud of me. Creativity is not something that happens in the mind. Yep, I know. The weak adrenals helped you make a connection. Good. I mean, you're talking to each other with that. Absolutely. Jackie Doe. You know, music, love, creativity. I love all that. Helen Roses. My heart and my head are with the doc here. I am concerned about the effect that protein has on my fatty liver too. Yeah, if you've got a fatty liver, honey, that's your lymph. Remember, fats are antacids, and you see, I just saw a guy the other day, yesterday, he had fats all over the arm, just fat deposits. You see people that are Lumpy Dumpty. These real easy movable, that's fat deposits, and that happens in an acid medium. And if you're really acidic, you're gonna get fat accumulation, and it can be fatty liver, fatty kidneys, fatty heart. It can be fatty anywhere because that's acidosis. So obviously, the lymph system would be the key focus. The lymph system would be the key focus in moving that fatty liver, right? Because that's what you're after. And when you talk about the liver, you're talking about a bunch of cells. If you want to spasm the liver to pump out the stones, you could do that, but that still wouldn't cure the fatty liver. The fatty liver is in the wall of the liver, and that's where you want to detoxify that lymph system. That's really key. But it also might give you a clue that could be interstitial lymphatic constipation in your GI tract wall too. By the time you see fatty livers and the pancreas is getting inflamed, you're going to see that all through the GI tract wall as well. So really, you've got to really move on the GI tract, move on the kidneys, get the adrenals up, and then tear into the liver and clean the liver out. But again, that's a lymphatic problem. Protein will serve us no good on any of these instances, I'll tell you that. I have diabetes, well, there you go. There's the adrenal glands, and if it's a type 1, then you've got a pancreatic brother sitting there that needs some help too. So you're always going to go through that route through the adrenals, through the lymph system, because one, you're already, when you're going through and focusing on the lymph, the blood is already being taken care of because the food you use to move lymph is highly nutritious. Matter of fact, those are the foods that are designed for your body. So that's a given. Blood's going to get plenty of nutrition, clean itself up, good, good, good. Your focus is the system that deals with the acids of the body where all the problems are. Knowing that this blood and nutrition is well taken care of, you don't even think about it. Isn't that cool? But whether this is a type 1 or type 2, type 1 is pancreatic, type 2 adrenals. Type 1 can be adrenals if it's a neurological type 1 diabetes. I will correlate all this information ready for my next appointment in the next year. Meanwhile, I will follow the doctor's advice on here. You have probably saved my life as I have da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Girls, go after it, Daniel and Helen Roses. Go forth and conquer. About pH and arguments, I think we talked about this. Everybody argues about pHs. Who cares? I mean, we can play in that world, but don't get caught up in it, really. If I have some blueberries, I'm going to enjoy them, even though they might have a little acidity. Who cares? The ash is going to be alkaline. I love it. But again, we've got to get ripened fruits. We've got to get better foods. Andre, blessings. Same to you here, my friend. Morris, how have you been? I need some directions. I have heart murmur at stage 1. I want to correct it. All right. So what you want to do, you want to move lymph, obviously, right? You want to move lymph. That'll move lymph in the heart. The other side to this is the parathyroid gland. You got to take a look because you want to look at fingernails, hemorrhoids, spider veins, varicose veins, bruising easy, cramping in the muscles, a little depression. These are all signs of a lack of calcium utilization. And with this heart murmur, this can be a genetic weakness, but I can tell you, going back into those areas, you're going to find probably a parathyroid weakness. Strengthen valves, tricuspids, mitral valves, sphincters, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to strengthen in the connective tissue and the tendons and the skeletal system, you've got to have a good working parathyroid gland. And you've got to remove an acid medium that would take the calcium in the first place. So you'll be going down that road there, Andre. I have myopia. 5 months ago I had a eyebrow lift surgery for cosmetic purposes. All right, right there, you're giving us a clue, my friend. You've got parathyroid again. You're giving us a clue. Could reach neurologically, like the case we just talked about. In the surgery, they put into me an intravenous anesthesia. Do you think this anesthesia could cause any issue? Well, you have to see. I want to get rid of fungus in my nails and on my feet. Your lymph system's a mess, my friend. I can tell you. If you got fungus in the nails and the feet, use a parasite to kill the fungus, but it'll ultimately not go away until you get deeper lymph work done on yourself. You need to do that anyway. That'll move any anesthetics that's still in the body. That'll clean you out that way. But get that parathyroid up, because you give me enough evidence that I highly suspect the parathyroid, high fungal problems. Go after that, but go after your lymph system, Andre. Really important, kidneys and adrenals. And there you'll find your sugar metabolism problem and why excessive fungus. Composer here, why would it be better to roast them? That would make them, anything you cook or roast or anything, you're going to change its chemistry, and that's not going to be beneficial too. But again, we've come through generations of cooked food, and sometimes it's a balancing factor. Not a nutritional factor, a balancing emotional factor. So got to kind of consider them sometimes when you rat out too much. Give yourself chocolate chip cookie. I don't care. Give you anything. Find something to balance out with, because you're the essential component I'm concerned about. Your body will get it well, but you are the one that I'm concerned about. And I want you well and happy and enjoying the moment and being your God self again. That is what I want. Thanks, Doc, for all your help. Have a great day, and God bless. Thank you, Opontifex. I can't even pronounce your whole thing, bro. You're really something else. Thanks for the comment. Same with you there. Cindy. Hi, Dr. Morris. My dad has calcifications. I did a video for you with this calcifications. I know this is running late. We got it up there for you, sweetheart. But yes, absolutely. Definitely got a hunk on his lymph system. You know, this is important. This is just acidosis. What's his creatinine? Got to watch that. His PSAs, of course, that's his kidney. You're going to see higher PSAs, lower back, calcifications, all tied into the same. Then the knees are going, the hips are going. You know, this is all extreme acidosis, and you want to get him away from the proteins, get him on the fruits and vegetables, depending his age, depending what you're dealing with. I remember commenting on this before, though, honey. So I did, Cindy. It's on another video, but only a few back, and I did write on there calcification, urinary tract calcifications. Thank you, Canadian War God. You're my favorite guy too, Betty. Thank you, Mitch. You're all my favorite. I love you all. All of you are great. Lion Man, JG, you're all just incredible people, and incredible souls more than that. Kelly, I also feels like someone is squeezing my temples. So I wonder what that could be. Like maybe you have an entity going like this. Get your butt moving. Put your hands on either side of my head and squeeze nonstop. My teeth ache. My arms burn. It's like living in hell. No, Kelly, it's living in acids. That's what this is. You're literally one big acid, and you're living in that acid. It distorts your emotions. It distorts everything. And this is just showing you're one big acid. Your pressure, you're acidic. That's what all this is acidosis. There's only two sides of chemistry, Kelly. And there's only two major fluids in the body, and they both can't deal with both sides of chemistry. So, in understanding this is your lymph system. It's causing you pressure. It's causing you burning. It's causing you acidosis. But the problem with this is that cells will deteriorate. You'll break down cells after a while. Your lipid fluids can only protect so long, and then cells can start getting their little butts kicked. So you have every reason to detoxify your lymph system sooner than later. If not, you're not going to find a remedy anywhere on this planet for yourself. I just got out of the hospital. I went on Sunday. The doctor said I was severely dehydrated. I put into perspective how dehydrated. It took 7 days. Well, you're already severely dehydrated interstitially. That's what's going on here. It took 7 bags of fluid to bring me to. I was so sick, still am. Anyway, I didn't know what happened. The ER doc said it was a virus, and the doc on call said it is the neurally mediated hypotension. Neurally mediated hypotension caused you dehydration? These guys must have been having a banana or an apple in the back, probably more like a steak sandwich, to be able to say something like that. That has nothing to do with it. Mediated, this is about your adrenal glands. If you have a lot of cerebellum work going on here, but it is also suppressive to the adrenals. Your systolic blood pressure is your adrenal gland. That's your neurotransmitters. And if you see yourself going like this, mediated, you're just going hypo, Brady tachy, however word you want to associate with that. Mediated. All right. But what is it behind this? What's behind this pressure? What's behind this burning? Acids. What's behind dehydration? Acidosis. Look at this, guys. They support me seeing Dr. Morris. The back of my head feels like someone bashed my head in with a baseball bat. No kidding. If we could open your skull up and take a syringe and suck that out of there, but you can't. You have to detoxify it out. Shows you how backed up, how much in kidney failure you are in terms of kidney filtration of the lymph. In time, you're going to see your creatinine soaring if you don't fix it, and you're going to be on dialysis. The back of my head feels like, all right, the right side of my head, forehead on the right side, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've gotten away from the fruit. I had to eat saltines and some ginger ale. The nausea subsided when I did that. My body is in a constant state of dehydration, the doctor said. Your body is in a constant state of, this just helps you understand that you're on the right path, Kelly. You're in a constant state of acidosis. There's only two sides of chemistry. Which side of chemistry do you think causes dehydration? It isn't the base side, or your blood would dehydrate you as it's flowing through you. I hope that the future of the kids don't have to wake up to so many Santa Claus. I consider myself a no-crap guy and ask questions to everything. I cannot believe Dr. Morse just all he says, and I think no one should. But probably you guys could help me out. Does anyone know something, has anything to share? I would really appreciate to come more one viewpoint. Let me see. What are you talking about, man? This could help many people because it's pretty difficult to believe Dr. Morse, even only on one side. It's pretty difficult to believe Dr. Morse, even only on one subject. Well, if you don't believe what I'm saying, then go, don't be part of the family. When he talks stuff like that besides it, again, not a critic, those are my favorite parts. I know lots of people who would say, he talks about an afterlife, etc. Oh yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, I know. The spiritual side I do throw in there. Do talk about afterlives and stuff. So those of you that don't like that, just ignore it. And to get into the health side of that, and don't let that bother you. I've been holding back for years of bringing out the truth of the heavens and stuff. Jesus brought out the fact of the many heavens. Buddhism, all works on the planet talk about it. So people have to just get with a higher level of thinking, in my opinion. What a crap guy. Don't believe him anything, etc. Of course, these people should be more open-minded and consider it. Yeah, you know what? If someone doesn't believe in what we're talking about on this site, then tell them to don't listen, because I don't really truly care. This is about you guys and about your growth spiritually and what you understand. If you get people that don't go for it or don't care, we don't care. And I'm going to tell you, though, in health-wise, they'll have to come to this someday anyway. There's no running away from this level of healing now on this planet. You're going to suffer if you don't. You're just going to have to find this someday, somehow, because the level of the young people, there's nothing else out there. And so the older people, yeah, they're going to die off. Some can be old and die and have to do this. But the younger people like you guys really, and there's some older people on this channel, but the younger people are by far they're in the most serious need to fix this. And there's some people that this is just not going to gel with, and that's okay. So just get it for yourself, 1-3 nice. Just really get it for yourself and wrap with this. And if people, this is a marketplace. This is a marketplace for belief systems as well. So I'm just, my experience is clinical totally, I can tell you. I mean, I'm book read, extensively book read, but I set that aside years ago. I really have, because the truth is in reality of what you see, and what is real, and what you can, what the effects of what you do, what you see that, you know. I am absolutely convinced that 80% of what Dr. Morris says it is true. You're right, man. 80%. 80%? Is this all you give me? However, as I like to observe my environment, I know that there has to be something. Example, since my first contact with Buddhism, oh, there you go, I didn't really understand why the heck people just sit around and meditate. I mean, would you just sit around without any reason? Well, Americans would have a hard time sitting around because everything has been pushed external. You're in America, in capitalism, everything is like dangling pieces of candy in front of you that you seek to have, and to build, and to have these big houses, and to have all these things. So it locked us into debt, and it locked us into things, and that's why a lot of people like the Native American way of simplicity. And so because we've just got carried away with capitalism. And so when it says just sit down and relax, most people say sit down and relax, because basically meditation is sitting down and relaxing. The thing is who's the meditator? And there's a lot of levels to awakening and to spirituality. And everybody has a piece of that. But the highest of high, what is that? And that's where you can only find out yourself. I just give you little hints of what I've experienced in these different realms, but you can figure out creation real easy. If you study the different works and different religions, you can put together for yourself how creation is. I did it for you so you can understand genetics. But, you know, if you get up into your higher teachings, they'll show you the mental worlds and how they're put together. And you experience them through your physical body. You experience your mind, you experience your emotions, you experience your ego, you experience these things, so you know they exist. So it's just it's just being that way. I've always sought the truth. I've always sought what really exists out there. And reading other works and religions, someone else is always telling you what's out there. And there's a point where you got to find out yourself what's out there. And that's what I try to teach you. I do sometimes get overboard and say things like the 1,000-petal lotus and stuff, but how do you know that really exists? That's someone else's experience. And that's my point here, is that you're the only one that is the experiencer, and you are the one that has to determine truth. But how do you arrive at the ability to be able to know what truth is? And you can't know it through the mind. The mind does not deal with truth whatsoever. It deals with activity. It deals with patterns of thought and relationships and rationale. It has nothing to do with truth. It's a completely conditioned element or process that you use. The emotions the same way. And so they're all tied into weaknesses of structures of the body and everything else. Truth is beyond that, the reality of life and what really is truth. So how do you going to know what this really is for yourself? Well, you have to get to the point where you don't believe anything. You get to the point where everything just is, and you become the observer of life as opposed to the thinker of life. That moves you away from creation into the now. Living in the now puts you in a position of unconditioned state of consciousness, because nothing is conditioned in the now. Everything just exists. And that's the only way you're going to know any of what truth is. I like to look at other people's experiences and say, oh, wow, did you? Let me see if I can have that experience. I like to do that. If I feel that it's viable and it has some reality to it, yeah, let me try it on. Or if I'm excited, I've walked down roads that had dead ends. Okay. I'm the walker always. So I'm not going anywhere. If I walk and experience something for a while, if it doesn't hold anything for me, I drop it and go somewhere else. I learn what I can, drop it, and go somewhere else. You're a good 132. Keep it up, and don't worry about other people. Not important. What's important is you totally. And who are you? How do you arrive at knowing who you really are? Am I the body? I mean, a lot of people are willing to tell you things. It's a marketplace with that. But breaking away and getting into the alone state, and getting time to where you can even get away from organizing, get away from that mind to where you now can see things for the first time. That's why I always liked LSD. No, not really. Window pane, maybe. No, just kidding. Hey, Robert, genetics. Why do you know that genetics work like that in real time, etc.? Somebody should prove that and make it public. I think so, too. I can tell you, though, at the moment of conception, just think about this, though. At the moment of conception, everything works in the moment. And yes, we work with memories and we work with things, but everything's in real time in the moment. So at the time of conception, in that moment, you'll see those genetics passed in that moment. You can always see weaker genetics. If you take eyes of generations of the same family, you can see the weaknesses as they get weaker through the generation. You can see the difference between the lesions of the eye of a mother and the daughter and the granddaughter. And even if you add the grandmother, I've had 4 or 5 generations in here at one time being able to look at that and see that. And so, yeah, there needs to be a lot. They're into genes and tracing these things in that way, and I think they're going down the wrong road in that way. It's easy to understand when you're looking at creation and how it is, and how the mind and emotions and how they play your drama for you. You know, you're the experiencer, but your mind and emotions pat that experience and put it into creation, which is outside of the moment. It is in the process of duality, where you have two forces pitting itself against each other, even though they come from the one source. A good example in Buddhism is at the causal plane. You have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the three forces that come out of the God, out of the Brahm, basically. Well, we do that in Christianity: the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. So we have those same type of trinities when you look at all these different religions. But this still relates to creation. So, difference between creation and God itself, or whatever the ultimate supreme being is itself. Doesn't matter what name you give it. What is the ultimate way to experience the infinite? And that is to become the infinite. And the only way you can become the infinite or experience the infinite if you let go all of creation. If you let it all go, get out of thought, get out of emotions, get out of all the ideas and the activities of thought patterns and emotions, and get into reality, and the moment only offers that. And so that's one of the keys to traveling these journeys and understanding these things for yourself. And in the bottom line, the bottom line to this 1-3 nice is or 1-3-2 nice is yourself. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is the buck stops with you. You're the knower, you're the doer, and you're a good person. You just get to know yourself more and more and more. Live in the intensity of the now. Don't believe in anything. Doesn't matter. And in non-believing of anything, you experience the whole. Our beliefs limit us, so don't believe in any of it, but live in the now and experience it. And by experiencing reality, you know reality, and you are reality. So all these things are little tidbits. Thank you for all your comments. Appreciate it. I know life's wild out there right now. This is a hell of a marketplace. There's all levels of thinking, all levels of propaganda. There's all levels of everything. There's agendas. There's all kinds of things. There's narcissism. There's the id. The human consciousness is a very immature level of consciousness and creation, in my opinion, and what I've experienced around the galaxies and universes and heavens and stuff in myself. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm. These were my experiences, and I talk about them sometimes just to get you guys excited to what the possibilities are that you can go on and experience. Get us away from isolated thinking on planet Earth. You're so much greater of a being than a little physical body experiencing matter on a very constipated planet. You guys are bright, brilliant sons of consciousness, and when you tap into that, then you'll recognize truth. I'd like very much, Doctor, if you could make a video about your current eating habits. Oh, I wouldn't be a pretty picture. I should have brought my breakfast this morning. What do you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? For breakfast, I always try to have fruit. Very rarely do I have something really gnarly. But generally, sometimes I'll get the craving. I have a little fungus too, so sometimes I get a craving for a donut or something. And, you know, that's be my cheat. But I always try to do the fruit thing for breakfast. Working in the clinic, I have we get out. I'm just just working with all these things that I like to have a big salad for lunch. If I could go out and get a big fruit bowl, I'd prefer that. But I generally have a big salad for lunch. That's almost every day. Nighttime, I piece. I like to have a little fruit, or I like to have a little something, Sometimes it'll be some steamed vegetables, carrots, onions. Sometimes we throw potatoes in there. So, and sometimes soups, and sometimes veggie. Sometimes I'll do veggie sandwiches, where I get the millet bread and I just pack on because I love avocados, tomatoes, onions. I like pickles, So I'll just build up me a big veggie sandwich. The days if I can do fruit all day, I try to do that. Jennifer's always has fruit and vegetables around the office here, so we're always piecing on fruits and vegetables around the office. Like tonight for supper, I'm going to a big salad restaurant. But they have a lot of other stuff there, so I probably have some homemade soup too, probably. Not a pretty picture. Thanks for the question, though. Love you, Dex. Thank you, sweetheart. Latin. Beautiful woman you are. Let's see. And I emailed about my mom, who fell and hurt her leg. Ooh, sorry, Mom. And it did not heal well. Yeah, absolutely. Going back to that not healing well, that's a lymph system here. She has been doing the high fruit and is breaking out in a terrible itchy... Yeah, I know. That's her lymph system. Sorry about that, sweetheart. You could slow it down maybe a little bit, hit that body with a lot of Parasite in, because she can go crazy with that itching stuff. She's full of fungus here. And of course she is worried, and I need you to touch on this. She has fibromyalgia. Yeah, she has fibromyalgia. She had her tonsils removed 35 years ago. She had a hysterectomy and many surgeries. Tina! Tina! Tina from Ontario, your poor mom, your mom. Well, Tina, you're a product of mom, right? This is genetics. So, kidneys, adrenals, move those lymphs, Mom. You've got to get those acids out of that body. You're losing tissue. You've lost tissue through your life from all this. Now stop losing it and keep what you got. Rebuild what you've got. Move your lymph system. That's why your trauma to your leg didn't heal. You're too acidic, and tissue can't heal in an acid medium. You can't put your finger in hydrochloric acid and heal it. You're going to lose it. So you can't heal in an acid medium, and that's your cellular waste. Cellular wastes are acids, and how many cells? You got roughly 100 trillion cells that comprise the human body. The legs are cells, the toes are cells, the kidneys are cells. Everybody's a cell, and everybody eats and poops. And you're just not moving the cellular poo-poo out of your body, honey. So you really got to move your lymph, and the problem's going to be in your kidneys. Clean up your colon, by the way. It'd be a good idea. I know, Tina. So clean up your colon and get your kidneys and adrenals moving here so you don't lose any more body parts. And get yourself in a base or alkaline state of chemistry where you're filtering well. That'll pull out the fibromyalgia. What is that? Pain, right? What kind of pain is that? That's an acid pain. There's very few base pains out there. So your body, you're loaded head to toe. This just shows that. Tonsils removed, just show hysterectomy. This is all from acids. And you're in pain and suffering from acidosis. That's why your body just went, woohoo, boom. You exploded when you started to detox. That's unfortunate, I know, but you're one of millions that do that. So this is no when to hold them and fold them. You could back up a little bit, go slower. But now that you got everybody turned on, I do hot and cold, scrub the skin, overtake Parasite M if you want to. Try to get a handle of this. You might call Jennifer and see what she's got here for itching if it gets real bad. I know there's some baths we do, like the Heal All Tea baths and stuff that you can do to help you. Maybe a saltwater bath might help you. I don't know. There was an herb we were using for that. I guess trying to remember what it was. All right. Now, from musician and artist to another, I found a huge decline in my creative functions as my adrenals became weaker. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, like I say, we have a lot of good musicians in here. And your creativity really goes way up. And as an artist of any kind, you know, you start getting away from still art and you get into the flow of art. I used to have a lot of, in Eckankar we had a lot of famous artists, and the drawings they drew, they brought what they experienced and what they saw in these different realms and brought them on a physical canvas. And it just gave you a buzz to look at. It was just these beautiful temples, these jeweled cities. And you just go, oh my God, I think I've seen that. Oh wow, look at that. I mean, the beauty of God. Let this earthly constipation go, 132, and just bloom. Who cares? The reality is you. Who cares about creation? Creation is a canvas of creativity for the Supreme Being. Never limit the Supreme Being's ability to have the most incredible, the most beautiful levels that there is. We're just not living on one right now. Quite beautiful. I love this planet. It's gorgeous. But there's places so much neater it's not even funny. And so let yourself go. Who cares? Who can get hurt by you enjoying the canvas of the Supreme Being? At the same time, remember, who's the experiencer of all the beauty and joy of life is you. You're that conscious part of that Supreme Being writing on the canvas. Fix your adrenals. Good comments here, guys. You guys are helping each other. You guys, I just love you so much. Let me see what else. So the whooping cough, I did that already. I did that yesterday for you. Sorry for the lateness of this. I got a little behind, and then Chris got way behind. And so now we're getting him back online. He's freed up, and he's doing as fast as he can. So he's doing it. You like the music? I haven't even heard it yet. It's like he's playing out there. And that gives him a creative flow. You know, all my people here, I try to let them have their jobs. You're responsible for your job. You do it as you feel. I want that creativity and that sense of pride in what they do, you know. Important. I had a lecture at the University in Biology. I'm a professor of the University of Biology and Science in Portugal, although I haven't talked to Baptista in a long time. A question, as Dr. Morse mentioned a few times in his videos, the capacity of digesting milk after age 2. I probably can give him a hint here. Pretty difficult to me to say that as I'm learning so much from him. It's not a critic at all at this time. Well, you know what, the claim of the loss of lactase, medical doctors claim too, not me. But I get kids off of milk even before that. Let's see, 4,000 years BC, that's why they told us in the lecture, people in Northern Europe around Northern Germany mutated this process and got persistent to the stop of this enzyme. They are able to digest milk sugar. Yeah, there are some Brits. There are some Brits who can do that. But don't need to do that. Don't need to play with milks anymore. You're supposed to be weaned. So it really isn't, I mean, one can argue that some people have maintained lactase and can digest milk. I did bring that out, but not really important in the sense that who cares? You can't have milk after age 2. As a matter of fact, some of the babies we have to wean a lot earlier because they're in trouble. They have tumors. They have cancer. You got to get on the fruit. You can't. Milk sugar's not going to clean you out. Matter of fact, and don't forget about milk sugar. It's the milk proteins. The milk proteins are the most mucosic or mucosis stimulating of them all. So milk proteins are way out there for man, especially pasteurized. So there's nothing healthy about a milk product at all after age 2, and only mom's milk up till then. Nothing. That is by far the worst food on the planet for the lymph system there is. Hands down. I don't care who says what about what. It's every Every practitioner that's ever been involved in detox and knows health knows that. From 100 years ago. So it doesn't matter. But there are some Brits that maintain it. So what? Quit drinking milk, Brits. You come in here with all the tumors all the time. I think I told you about a lady that flew over to the Mayo Clinic here from London every year for 7 years or more, with the tumors all wrapped around her legs. She had probably 50 tumors around both legs. And I asked her, do you drink milk? And she said, well, I certainly do. And I said, I'm just curious, what does the Mayo Clinic have you doing for those tumors? She said, well, they have me wrapping my legs with cellophane. I said, they have you wrapping your legs with cellophane? I wonder how much she paid them for that expert advice. I had those tumors gone in 2.5 months, except for one little one. And was this lady mad? Very mad. She'd spent tens of thousands of dollars coming over to the Mayo Clinic to have them tell her to wrap her legs in cellophane. Yeah, get rid of the milks. Frank. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Please don't forget to tell Dr. Russ I am on a standby for an appointment. All right, my friend. How you doing, Frank? This attention file. Okay, let me see what's going on here, man. Okay. Oh, FD. Oh, so you're not part of the. That's good. I was thought you FDA. You know what? So that's good. Which is my first initial, middle name, and last name, and the other name is the Life Regenerator. Oh, you're the same one! The Life Regenerator. Good, bro, go. He just commented on a video. I never know. You never know. When you ask about black salve, I remember the question. And these guys just, they love to kind of wiggle in and say a few things. These guys are ruthless. But, yeah. So I'm glad to know that was you. But I'll be talking to you. I addressed you yesterday, Life Regenerator, about your glaucoma. And real important that you get that out of there, my friend. That's lymph. The black salve is a good tumor popper. That's all it is. It beats surgery, I tell you that, unless you have real large tumors. Yeah, there you go. I am a family man, and my wife and I are raising a healthy girl who is 3 years old. All organic and no vaccines. Good man, Life Regenerator. Yeah, you're a good dude. I am in Canada, and my mom will call me a health fanatic. That's your mom call. That's the best word. You're a health fanatic. Thank you, Mom. I was born and raised in Germany. Oh, pretty cool, man. I am very spiritual and thankful for this. Thank you. I love your comments, Frank. Sending much love to you, and I'm sending my love to you too. You will overcome your glaucoma, and I'll show you how you rebuild your vision, my friend. So thank you for that. And let me see if there's anything else here. Oh, whooping cough, I already commented on that. I did it. Now, I might have some this morning in there. If I do, I'll try to go get them and come back to you here. But we did it. We made it together here in 2 hours. Ugh. So I apologize. These are long videos, and I hope I answered all your questions. I hope I got to them. I can rest this weekend a little bit, but I got a lot of your tests to grade. I'm inundated with your tests now to grade them, so got to be patient with me on those tests. I read every question and go over them with your comment, and I make comments on them, so it takes me a little while. Cintra, hang on. So hang in there with me. I appreciate you guys more than you know. You're a great team. All you guys are getting great results, and you're helping others to get great results. I love your comments to each other. You guys are really good. Thank you all so much. And 132, man, hang on and travel, man. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your knowingness. It all doesn't matter in the end anyway. It's us, you anyway. So you each enjoy yourselves today. Be at peace, joy, bliss, ecstasy, and have fun with the ride. Thank you again. Bye-bye now.